Hi. Today I'm gonna take you through different ideas on how to navigate your study abroad plans. Uh, as an international student, I think one of the biggest challenge that we face is the application fee. You don't want to throw fees around. There's You don't want to waste your money basically on application fee. It can be very, very expensive. Some application fee goes as high as 160 US dollars, and it can be very, very expensive. That's a lot of money. Like, it's even a lot of money for most Americans themselves. So you really want to make sure that you're making the most of your time, including the time you spend getting your references, putting together your documents, and all that. So you really don't want to waste your time, and you want to be very, very effective in your application. So today I'm going to share 9 ideas to help you navigate through these processes. And uh, some parts might be a bit simplistic for you, but I still feel it's necessary to share because so you don't just make mistakes really. So it's my responsibility to try to minimize your mistakes to make sure that you put your best foot forward. So for that reason, I'm going to do a demo navigation section, so to say, on the University of Calgary website and University of Alabama website. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share a link that has the list of all the universities in the world, so that when you decide on the city or the country that you want to go study in, you don't have to go online to start searching on what universities are in, let's say California and all that. I'm just going to share the link that has all the universities in the world. It's categorized by continents, countries, and cities as well. So you don't have anything to bother about when searching for a school. So let's get started. So these are the 9 points. You want to take note of these as you go through your study abroad plans. And the first thing I think, which is the most important, is deciding on the country. I know different people have different criteria, different people have different requirements. You have what you want to consider, you have your goals and ambitions and all that. And again, for some people, depending on where their families are and all that, like it's this is completely dependent on you. I'm not gonna mention a country to say, oh, go to this country. No, I won't do that. But just decide on the country that you want to go study in. I know one thing that most students consider is the visa policy of the country they want to go school in, right? So again, it's up to you. Then the next thing, when you decide on the country, make a list of schools. So I'm gonna share a list for you to show you or to help you with all the schools in any country in the world, right? And then the next thing is you want to consider the programs that fits your, be it your work experience or your academic experience. Then you want to consider the opportunities of the program upon graduation, right? Because make sure that you're learning or you're going to study a course that is in demand in the market, right? Because most of these developed countries are very strategic with how they recruit, and you can't just bring in any degree to work in, let's so to say, a professional environment. I And another thing you want to consider is your funding options. Are you self-funding? Are you getting a loan, or you gonna get a scholarship, or you're going through the graduate assistantship? And like, again, consider your funding option. It's a really, really big deal. And then you want to know the admission rate. And I think this is like the most important part of this video. Most people don't consider the admission rate of most universities, and that's why we waste money a lot. So you want to consider the admission rate, and you want to ask questions. uh, Most academic advisors or most supervisors or most program supervisors are very, very responsive. The longest response rate I've gotten has been 5 days, right? They are very, very responsive. So let's dive deep into navigating websites. So I know this is very, very simplistic for some of you, but for some people, it's a big deal, right? So you can just skip this video when you get to this point, or you can keep on watching, depending on it's your choice. Yeah. So the first thing when you get to any university website is to check the section where they have future students or they have academics rather. So you want to go there, navigate to that place and put your cursor, click on it, and you're going to see explore programs. So for this, I've already opened the tabs, right? Because I don't want to take so much of your time. So navigate to where a program of your choice is. So for me, it's communication and media studies. I navigate to that page and I click on it. I've already opened it again. So for most schools, they have the course-based masters, and some masters are thesis-based, right? So for course-based masters, as the name implies, you're just going to be doing classwork. You're going to be doing in-class programs. There's no uh, thesis, right? Like you don't write a full thesis or a research work at the end of the program. The most you're going to do is maybe you compile a document or you do a capstone or you write you just write an article or something as the case may be, but you don't deep dive into uh research itself. And for most Canadian universities, most course based masters are usually 1 year, right? While thesis based are usually 2 years or more. This is the information you're going to find on most of their websites. Then again, you want to go through the program overview. Now, the program overview helps you to know how to structure your SOP because most programs have a focus, or most universities have a focus, right? So some universities are really big on, let's say, media production, while some are big on media theories, while some are big on gender communication. So you want to know the specialization of the program you're applying to or of the department you're applying to. So, for example, University of Calgary now, you could see they emphasize on the fact that it's Department of Communication, Media, and Films, right? So, if you want to do something around film production and all that, then you know that this is a good fit for you, right? And again, there's something theoretical and methodological grounding, right? So you know that they are very, very broad in their coverage of media studies. So you might stand a better chance to get admission into this program depending on your focus in communication. So again, in case you don't find enough information in the program overview, you want to check the research interests of their faculty. So let's say, for example, I'm interested in gender communication. I just go through most of their research interests, and let's say I'm not seeing anything gender communication, automatically I know that I have to restructure my SOP, right? To fit into the research competencies of their faculty. Yeah. I'm really trying not to make this video super long, but I want to be as detailed as possible. Uh then completion of the program, you wanna check out the faculty. I think we touched on that. Then a big part is the admission requirement. So this is like a standard format for most universities. They have an admission requirement. For some admission requirements, they consider GPA, right, which is your basically your CGPA or your grade upon graduation, right? They have a minimum that you must not be less than. For some programs, if you have a GPA lower than the minimum, they require you to write a graduate test, right? Be like a GMAT or GRE or whatever test they choose. Then most programs also require work samples, right? I know most thesis based or research based masters or PhD require work samples. While for some course based, it might not be a required criteria. Then your reference letters, it's usually a minimum of two, and you want to check out the minimum education requirements. Of course, it's a master's. They expect that you have a Canadian equivalent of a bachelor's degree or whatever degree you have. Just make sure that you have an equivalent of the Canadian bachelor's degree. Then your SOP, your CV, or your resume, as the case may be. And as you can see, some programs have test scores as a requirement, but for this program, it's not a requirement. Again, another part where I see people throw money around a lot is the language requirement. If you're from an English speaking country, there's a high chance that you don't have to take the language test, right? You don't have to take the language test. But I know some people try to play it safe, but the best way to play it safe for me is to reach out to the program advisor. Send them an email that you're from so 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 and so country. Do you still have to take the language test? And they're going to tell you yes or no, right? So basically, again, as you can see, this is the contact of the program advisor. You just have to click on it and it directs you there. So another thing again to consider is the fees. Most programs have funding, and they have different funding opportunities for students. As you could see, University of Calgary has funding for university assistantship, project employment, seasonal instructorship. I assume as a seasonal instructorship, you'll be teaching students who are undergraduates, right? Then you can work with some faculties on their research. Like there are a lot of funding opportunities for different students. And for international students, you also have funding opportunities, which is usually graduate assistantship, right? And then you want to check out the fees, right? These are the graduate fees. You want to go to the fees section, and I think we've dealt with this extensively. So let's go to the University of Alabama website. So the same thing, go to academics, and it leads you to all the programs, from all the programs. So let's say, for example, I want to check out their course on accounting, right? I go there, check out the overview, check out requirements, admission requirements. For this, I require 3 letters of recommendation. Remember, the former one, it was just 2. So depending on the institution and depending on the program, that's why you have to be very, very careful. And you have to be very sure of the admission requirements before you submit the application or before you even pay the application fee. Please double check. And I even dare to say you have to check the admission requirements before you spend so much time navigating the website itself. Then just go through the requirement. For this one, they require a GMAT, and again, you have to take the GMAT to stand a chance to get admission here. And for most programs that require a GMAT or a GRE, they have a benchmark, right? So it's advisable that you check the benchmark. So I know some people would probably submit the application, then go study for GMAT or GRE. I know it's okay to do that, but again, consider the fact that you're putting money, you're throwing money around, right? So you really want to take your test before you go deep down into submitting your application. You don't want to waste so much money, right? So please and please, it's just an advice. But if you're super sure of yourself, why not go ahead, submit your application and submit your test score later. Then up next, you can go to the program website itself. So for example, the University of Alabama, their business school has a specific website, and this is it. And on the business school website, or on the course, or on the program website, you're going to find more specific information. You're going to find specific information there, different pathway, different opportunities for you. And all you just have to do is go there, navigate, and check how to apply, who to speak to. You find all the information there. Then who to speak to. From the contact us page, I was able to get their director of executive, their graduate admission specialist, and these guys will really tell you your chance of getting admission even before you submit your application. And I dare to say some of them will even share information about when they grant application fee waiver, right? They're going to tell you when they have an info section, and maybe if you attend the info section, you get application fee waiver. I can remember when I started graduate school application, I got about, I think, 6 application fee waiver just by reaching out to the school to know if they have such opportunities. Then again, same information. Then again, some schools have a graduate ambassador program. They have a student ambassador program. So you want to make sure that you check out if they actually have a student ambassador program. You're going to find it on their page in the contact us section, right? So different, University of Alabama has one. I don't think University of Calgary has one, but again, you can go check out. So student ambassador, basically, they might not be able to guarantee your admission, but they will tell you what the application was like for them. They are already in the system. They know what the faculties are looking at. They know the research, the area of research that the school is looking at for. And of course, I've had a student ambassador edit my SOP before. Like, she did a good job helping me to refine my SOP, and it was a wonderful experience getting help. So feel free to reach out to them to help you structure your SOP in a way that fits into the program that you are looking to apply to. Then again, funding page, you want to check out your funding page as well to know, like, what are my chances of getting funding at all, or am I self-funding? So for University of Alabama, they have graduate assistantship and several other fundings, right? So you want to check out their funding opportunities, their assistantship. They have 3 types of assistantship: teaching, research, and administrative. So you want to check out all of this information exhaustively, right? And also, maybe you're not sure of your chances of getting assistantship. You can check out the budget, right? You can check out the tuition or the costs of attending the program, right? So just go to cost or cost of attendance, or as the case may be, you always find it in the school website. So check out the cost of attendance and you get all the information you need. So the last thing I'm going to share right now is uh, the acceptance rate. Some schools have really, really low acceptance rates, and you really want to make sure that you know that before you submit the application so you don't waste money. So we're going to check out the acceptance rate for University of Alabama and University of Calgary. So for University of Calgary, the acceptance rate for undergraduate programs is between 15 to 20%. That's very, very low. And for graduate program, it's 60%. Like, again, I still consider that low when compared to University of Alabama, right? So let's check out University of Alabama. So the graduates, the acceptance rate for University of Alabama is 80%. That's really high. Uh, the average cost after you've gotten aid or partial funding, as the case may be, graduation rate again is 71%. So you really want to consider the acceptance rate before submitting an application. And generally, I recommend 80% upward acceptance rate for any institutions you want to apply to. Except maybe you really have a strong research and academic experience or good grade, as the case may be, then you can consider any acceptance rate, right? Or maybe you already have a faculty that is a member of the faculty that is willing to work with you. Then that's when you probably don't have to consider the acceptance rate. But again, if you don't take anything out of this video, I really want you to consider the acceptance rate of any school before you apply to. So I think that's that. So finally, I'm gonna drop the link to this website on in the comment section. So the website basically has a list of all universities in the world, right? So if, for example, we go to North America, it's called for icu.org, right? So I'm gonna drop the link anyway. So you go to North America, you go to You go to the to the United States, you see different states, right? Then you go, let's say we go to Alabama, you see Alabama, you see all the schools in Alabama. There are about how many institutions there? About 27 universities there, right? So it's kind of like a public repository where people go to add and update. But I feel like this is an exhaustive list of schools that you can find any schools here. So you can literally read about them and just check out the schools, get more information before you submit your application, right? So that way you don't have to go to Google to start searching for universities in this location and all that. So all the resources are right here and more. So basically, I hope you really find this video. I hope you really find this video useful. And if you have any question, drop it in the comment section. If there is any topic you want me to talk about, feel free to drop it in the comment section as well, or send me an email. Right, I'll definitely talk about that. I know there are a whole lot of things to cover, but I just try to make it as basic and easy as possible so that you you find it useful and you find it very very practical. If you find this video useful, if it's helpful for you, watch and make sure that you share with your friend. And yeah, feel free to hit the subscribe button so that you get a notification anytime I share a new video. Yeah, take care. Bye.